All right, I'm going to start out by looking at this issue of Miss Fury that was published by Adventure Comics, which was a subsidiary of Malibu Graphics, who later went on to do the Ultraverse. And we worked for these guys on several different projects. In fact, we started out with Malibu right after we got out of college on a book called Cat and Mouse. Me, Roland Mann, and Mitch Byrd together. And over here, this book came later. I'll find out what year it is. But this is a cover by Lorene Haynes. Yes, she looks very much like Catwoman. Miss Fury was an original character from the 1940s. She's in public domain now. She was basically had the look of Catwoman before even Catwoman had this look. So anyway, and it's in full color. And they said that because most of the time Adventure Comics were in black and white. So this is by Roland Mann is the writer, Mitch Byrd is the artist, and I do not know who Grow is. I'll find out when I open it up. So this came out in 1991 is when it was published, but it was probably drawn in 1990. So we have over here Miss Fury, created by Tart Mills, who was one of the earliest female comic book creators and writer artists back in the golden age of comics. Roland Mann is the writer, Mitch Byrd penciler, Paige Grow was the inker, Brett Carpenter letter, Joseph Allen coloring, and Lorene Haynes, another the late great Lorene Haynes, a friend of ours for many years. She painted this cover. So anyway, this is Mitch, early Mitch, back in, like I said, 1991. He had been in the business at that time for just a couple of years. We did Cat and Mouse and got it published in 1990 from Malibu. It was a black and white publication, and it ran like 18 issues, I think. But this is another thing that Mitch branched off and illustrated, and Roland Mann, our writer on Cat and Mouse, wrote. Now, here's a thing that Mitch always did, and we've talked about this before. The sound effects that he would use, the onomatopoeia that he would use was got pretty wild sometimes, and here he's got her basically raking the eyes or raking the face of this character, and the sound effect is rake. and wop, that comes from the wop biscuits that we used to love to eat. So it's pretty crazy. And if you can tell, this was not only colored, but it looked like it was I think Mitch drew it on that kind of board that I forget what it's called. You put a solution on it, a duotone, is that what it's called? You put a solution on the black and white artwork, and it gives you this tone. So not only is it colored, it's got the tone on it as well. I've used some of that, but not a whole lot. But Mitch looked like he used it on this entire comic here, and so. Here we have another onomatopoeia of what it's the word that she's actually doing. She's flinging a vase, and it's got fling here, and it's zip through the air, and then when it hits the guy, it goes bean, because she beamed him in the head with it. So it's funny the way Mitch always had a really funny sense of humor whenever he was especially these fight scenes and stuff, of how it was like watching it. I could see this like in a cartoon or something. Real funny stuff. Here's one where she's pitching it's like she's flipping it up, flip, and then she's catching it with her feet, catch, and then crate. She hit him in the face with the crate. So anyway, hold it there, you Nazi spy. But anyway, this is fun stuff, and I think I got this in the dollar bin, which I can find. I can find a lot of my stuff in the dollar bin these days, and that's okay, because just because it's relegated to the dollar bin doesn't mean that it's not good. And this is perfect proof of that right here. Here we got zip and slam. So she's run past them really fast, not to get not for them to see that she's dressed up, I guess, like this. I guess she's going to a party dressed as, because that was like what you saw back here was 1943. This is 1991. So we got a generational thing here. And so so anyway, we've got all of this action going on in the then modern day time period of 1991. And here's that's another book that Silverline put out, which is what Roland, Mitch, and I started. And this was a cover done by Mitch called The Mantis Files. Now, Mitch didn't draw the interiors. Yeah, a guy named Thomas Giles drew the interiors, but Mitch and I did covers, and I think I penciled one and he inked it. Then he penciled one and I inked it, and then he penciled and inked one all on his own. Here we go again with the onomatopoeia. Swipe, knee. She hit well, that's a girl. She hit her with a knee, and then she did a karate chop, chop, swipe, knee, chop, and then rush. She's rushing her. That's crazy. Slice. She actually cut her that time, so slice came out, and then KO. It's a knockout. That's funny. And so here, I have no idea. I haven't read this, so I don't really know what's going on, but I know it's some kind of family drama going on in here. And but it's told really well. Mitch knows how to tell a story, and he does a really good job. And this is, like I said, this is early Mitch Byrd. This is like 1990, 1991. Whenever this came out. Here's again where you can see how this was used. He did it. He had a shadow here, but he used the chemical on the paper to get that effect instead of actually inking it. Or I guess the inker did that. I'm not sure. I can't, because there was an inker on this, but I'm not sure if the inker did that or Mitch did, and I'm assuming that they provided him with the color, with the paper to do this, because that paper was kind of expensive, and I don't even think you might can find it today, but it's very it's not easy to get a hold of. A lot of talking head pages here. We had our action. Now we've got a bunch of extended scenes of talking heads, and this is kind of weird. Most of the time the word balloons are in an oval. These are all in kind of more like squared off word balloons, and that's totally fine. It's just, as long as it's consistent, as long as you start with it and end with it, instead of changing it up. But the thought balloons are still the same. That's still kind of normal. There's a kersh as a sound effect. Let's see. All right. Yes. Okay. This looks like yet another character dressed very similarly in this. So it says next issue, people are being killed and the fingers are pointing at the new Miss Fury. Be here. I don't know what happens. I think this was a 4 or 5 issue miniseries. I guess the whole thing went in color. Sometimes they would start off I know at Malibu they'd start off a series in color, and then it would go into black and white mode. I'm not exactly sure about this one. All right, skip a few years, and we're going to look at what Mitch was doing at DC Comics. Now, by this time, Mitch and I were sharing a studio in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I was working primarily for Marvel at the time, doing Silver Sable and the Wild Pack, and then later on I was doing Web of Spider-Man. This is 1995, so I was working on Spider-Man at the time that this was going on, but I was sharing a studio while Mitch was drawing this. I was drawing the Spider-Man stuff. So over here is we have Bo Smith is the writer. Of course, Mitch is the penciler. Dan Davis is the inks, or on the inks. Stu Chaffetz is the colorist. Albert de Guzman, letterers, and Eddie Berganza was the editor. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think it's a secret, but even though he did a fantastic job on this stuff, it was no secret that Mitch was not a fan of superheroes, even though he could draw them really well. But there's been other great artists that were not fans of the work that they did. John Buscema himself was legendarily averse to all the superhero work he did. All he wanted to draw was Conan, but he did all the other stuff and did an extremely good job, just like Mitch does here. And so Mitch drawing Superman. I never knew that he drew Superman in a comic, but there he is. And so pretty much the same type of storytelling that he's employing here that you saw on the Miss Fury comic. And so yeah, I'm trying to think if maybe a little bit more minimalistic. I'm not sure. On some pages it is, but not on every page. Here's a new character, and I think Mitch designed this guy. His name's Sledge. Not even Sledgehammer, just Sledge. And and this is Steel, I think that's his name. He's one of the Superman guys. John Henry Irons, I think, was his name. But here's this character Sledge, and look the way Mitch always drew really dynamic, but logic defying, I guess, is that a word? Logic defying ways that bricks and rocks and things like that would crumble. I mean, this looks like, and same here. I mean, that looks awesome, but it kind of defies. It kind of defies what would actually happen if a guy did a Samson thing, and pulled two columns apart. It almost looks like some kind of like a sound wave was crunching this and making it shatter this particular way. But it just looks cool. Kroom. Ye rag, what I don't take, I destroy. All right, and at this time, I think Guy Gardner had some kind of an ability he had superpowers. He could transform his body into different kinds of weapons. And like, see here, this guy punched him in the face, and he's got these big brass knuckles on his fist, and he left the imprint of them on Guy Gardner's face. But then Guy Gardner can turn around and make a gun, excuse me, out of his hand. So a lot of fun stuff in here. Mitch he was a master storyteller, and just did a fantastic job on everything that he put out. Mitch was one of those guys that from the moment I met him to the last thing that I saw him do, which was not that long ago, I was in awe of. He just was excellent. Look at that you talk about a money shot. That's a money shot right there. Hammer down. His Guy Gardner's eyes are completely white. He don't even have any pupils. Well, I don't guess he has any pupils whenever he's in the warrior guys or whatever. But yeah, this is some fun stuff. I want to say it right here because I believe it, and I'm just going to put it out there. If sheer talent and skill were the barometer by which successful comic artists are measured, then Mitch Byrd would be a household name. That's how good he was. But Mitch was a different kind of a guy. He didn't care for accolades. He didn't care for he didn't even know how to take compliments, and he was notorious for that. Very humble, very unassuming. You know, you wouldn't think that he was this if you just saw him, you wouldn't think that he was this fantastic artist. He had no, he didn't have the big head. And look at that guy. I think Major Force. Yep, Major Force equals Major Revenge. I think he's a bad guy, and he's out to get Guy Gardner. So anyway, that's Guy Gardner, Warrior, issue number 27 from 1995. Mitch Byrd, my friend, and this is Miss Fury from just a few years prior to that. So we are going to have a special time of like a celebration of life for Mitch this coming Saturday, whatever day that is. August the 2nd, maybe? I don't know. It's Saturday, whenever that is. But we're going to have his close comic book friends are going to have a gathering where basically we're just going to gather and appreciate, have a Mitch Byrd Appreciation Day at 3 Alarm Comics in St. Martin, Mississippi, this Saturday, starting from 5 o'clock to, well, however late it goes. So I know I have plenty of Mitch stories that I can share because I think I've known him the longest out of everybody that's even working in comics besides Roland. But I even knew him longer than Roland because we met while we were in college. But anyway, if you happen to be in town and in that place, it's open to the public. So if you want to come in, pay your respects, please do. We'll be there. But I just wanted to end this with saying something that I never did tell him face to face. But Mitch, I love you, brother. I wish that you could have been around longer, because I think you got a fan base that you never really knew that you had. I don't know if that would have been. I think it probably would have done you good to know that, but I think you appreciate. I know you appreciated the ones that you do have, and anyway, you are going to be missed, my brother, and I know you're painting dinosaurs in heaven right now, so Godspeed to you. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.